Hello and welcome. My name is Justin, and this is another episode of Automate Office Work. Today's episode is all about org charts. This podcast is available as a live event on LinkedIn most Fridays. It's also recorded onto YouTube and Apple Podcasts. We do have the opportunity for a live audience to come on LinkedIn and to leave comments. We can also have people come on to the live stream with me, and we can have a chat as well. I like to leave time at the end. I like to have a presentation for about 20 minutes and then leave the remainder of the time for people to just come on and chat. It doesn't matter if you are a long-time expert in automating or if you're just a beginner, we can come on and have a chat and it will be enlightening for everybody. All right, today's episode is all about org charts. And I have an article that is written up all about this. So you can follow along as well at automateofficework.com/org charts. Okay, so org charts are an easy way to increase communication in a department. They are also very difficult to keep up to date if you are doing it manually. Most org chart solutions we have available to us, Outlook and Workday, for example, only show a very small section of an org chart at a time. When you want to see the whole picture, you might even be used to just seeing a single person and their direct reports. And you would then have to click on one of those two levels of people. And then it brings you, I guess, to the next level where you only see two levels or at most three. You see a person in the middle, you see the person that is their manager, and maybe a few people below them that they manage. But you cannot see the entire org chart, which is what we would like to be able to show and to our audience. Okay, so I have, I'm going to try to speak using just words to paint a picture for our audience that is listening to audio only. But there's also a video recording of this that is available on LinkedIn or YouTube you can see as well. Okay, so I show briefly, there's a screenshot of an org chart, just very briefly of what our end result looks like. It is, well, at first, it's just a brief snapshot of the org chart. And if you click into this, you go into the full thing. I'm going to go to this. I'm going to bring my article over to another screen so I can use it kind of as a script, as a prompt. And on my screen now that I'm recording, it shows the entire org chart. Now, there are about, I'd say 30 people in my department here. By the way, these are all fake people. The photos that you see are AI generated and the names are completely random, but it does give you a very nice example of a department and how its org chart can look. Okay, so this org chart specifically, it's only 3 people deep, but it's very wide. It is too wide to show on just a small screen. So you do have to scroll horizontally, okay? You do have, each person has their name and their title. You also have their picture. Most of the people also have a team name that is above their card. And it tells you like the team. So we don't have this data available to us from Outlook. From Outlook, you only have the person's name, email address, a photo, and their title at most. The team, like they might be, like their title might be director, but the director of what? And that is their team, something like litigation or intellectual property. It should be above the leader's photo. And then everybody below them would, of course, be in litigation or intellectual property. They would not need a team name above them. But the leader does need a team name. So we're able to do that with my solution as well. And all of this data does come directly out of Outlook in my case. Yeah, and when you click on a specific person like Jeremy Smith, it opens up a bigger card so we can see his picture bigger. And now we see his email address. The email address was not shown on the previous one. Now we can see that. As well as in the top right of the card, I've got an icon for a biography. And if I were to click on this, it would take me to a separate tool that it's not the same as org chart, but it's very related, and that is biographies. And I will go over that in a separate episode, but it links to his biography, so we can learn all about him. And then, of course, when we're on his biography, there is a link to the org chart, so you can see where he fits into the bigger team as well. Okay, and below that icon, I have a pencil icon. And this allows me to edit this person's profile. Yes, we are getting data out of Outlook or from our data source, but we also want to be able to override that data. Say his name is Robert, but we don't want to have his formal name on the org chart. Maybe he goes by Bob. We want the name Bob to be on the org chart. So if I click on this pencil, I can override his name. I can override his job title as well. Maybe his job title is very ambiguous, like the word director. And we might say director of what? So you could add in here, change his job title to be director of litigation if we wanted to do that. We can also put a team name above him, as well as we can hide this person. And why is it useful to hide people from an org chart? Well, based on our data set that we're getting all this data from, Outlook has many accounts that are actually not even people. Maybe you have different system accounts. Maybe you have like newsletter at your company. And but all of these accounts are actually managed by people. So they would appear as just like any other account. So you need to be able to have a way to filter these out and to hide these as well. Okay, this pencil icon for editing, I make it available to the person themselves, to anybody in the management chain, all the way up to the general counsel if they want to, as well as I do have a list of people who are admins of this org chart tool. So all three of those kinds of people, they can come and edit. So not just everybody can edit somebody else's card. Okay, all right, let's see. I also have the ability to, in the URL, we could have org chart, and then you have question mark, email equals, and you can put a specific person's email address. And if you go to that type of a URL, like from their biography, it will zoom specifically to that person. So it'll scroll over so you can see them in the center of the screen, as well as it'll turn their box, instead of being a light blue, it'll be a gold. So it's highlighted and you see specifically. You can zoom specifically to a specific person. All right, let's see if I missed anything. Yeah, so this is updated automatically. And it's updated automatically through an automation flow in Microsoft Power Automate. I do not have the specific flow on my computer to show right now, specifically because what I'm showing to you right now is actually a sample, right? So my data, I got it once, or I created it to make this example. I am not actually in an organization with 30 people, right? I'm in a small business where it's just myself and maybe a couple of other people. So the example of the flow of how to get this, inside my org chart article, I do have a link. Here it is. It says here, Power Automate has an action where you can input a person and get back a list of their direct reports. Okay, this action in Power Automate takes about 1 second to receive this response. This means to get the details of an entire department, you would input the email address of the department head. The automation flow would then need to recursively, that means repeatedly, run over the resulting direct reports to get their direct reports, and then their direct reports, and then their direct reports, etc., until the entire flow is finished. So if you have like 3 people in your organization, 3 seconds isn't that long. Your user could get the information fresh out of your data set every time. But if you multiply that 1 second times, say like 100 people in your department, that's more like 3 minutes they're going to have to wait. Multiply that up to 500 people, they're going to be waiting something like 15 minutes. So what we do to get around this limit is that we run the automation on a regular basis in the background. It doesn't run when the person comes. It runs maybe at midnight every night, or you could run it once a week, say on Monday morning. So that's what we do. It creates a like a text file with all of our data, so that when your user does come to the org chart, the solution is looking at that text file instead. Okay, I do have a tutorial how to recursively go over a bunch of people. It is there's a link in the article, but it's at solutions/ list of people under a department head by Justin. That is all those words are separated by underscores, but you can also find the link in the article, automateofficework.com/org charts. Okay. And this goes over not how to get an org chart, but just how to get a list of everybody under a department head. So it just creates a comma separated list of all the email addresses. And I do give you the Power Automate flow, exactly how to do this. It does start, let's see. It does start with, it gets triggered at a certain time of the day. You tell it what the email address is of your department head. And then we do a do until action. And that's until it gets everybody that's under them, because it's going to get their direct reports. And then it's going to get a list of the direct reports of each of those people, and then direct reports of all of those people. So you see how it snowballs, and you can get hundreds and hundreds of people. Okay, so it can really run for like 15 minutes. At the very end, it creates a file. Here for me, it's all emails.txt, and I save it to a specific location on my SharePoint. Okay, so the process of doing this for org chart data is very, very similar. I am going to come back to this article, and I'm going to show it a little bit. Okay. All right. So what format should your people data be in? It depends on the solution you're using to generate an HTML page with your org chart. There are many solutions available for JavaScript that will parse out a data file and create a beautiful org chart experience for your users. The most beautiful solutions are paid, of course. I found a solution offered by Google for free, so I used that one. It's not the most beautiful solution, and it doesn't offer all the features the others provide, but it gets the job done. And it was good enough for me, for my case. So I used this free solution from Google called Google Charts for my org chart solution. It's free. And you can find it at, there's a URL in my article, but the URL is developers.google.com/charts/interactive-docs/gallery/org-chart. So you go there and you can see an example. It shows you how to use it. There's a simple org chart with about 5 people under a president. And it also gives you the code, the sample code for how to create this little web page. Okay. It does give you an example here. It's in JSON format of the people data that you need to be able to provide to this Google solution, and it will create the HTML page for you. So on my article, I break out this JSON data of people data and just show you that, each person has some properties like a name and their title. And let's see, you also have to have the name of their manager also, so that the org chart solution knows the link between all of these people. So your automation that you do that runs daily or weekly, it's going to need to create a data file that is similar to this. Okay. And then your org chart solution will be taking that people data and it will build your org chart immediately. And because we have already gathered the data, either weekly or daily, the solution can go very quickly, and it can load your org chart in 1 second instead of having to get all the people data in 1 second per person. Okay. Your automation will need to produce a similar text file. Yes. Further enhancements. What if the data coming from Outlook is not complete? What if Bob is called Robert in Outlook and we want the org chart to say Bob? We need a way to override the Outlook data. I made it so when a user clicks on a person's box, a data card appears. There's a link to the person's bio on my Biographies platform. But if the person that opened the card is the person, their manager, or a site admin, there's an extra button to edit the data. This data is then connected to a SharePoint list of overriding data. So when the Outlook data is parsed, we also check to see if there is overriding data on the SharePoint list for that person. And we show the overriding data instead. For example, some accounts in Outlook are not real people, but merely system accounts, like info@company.com. These appear as being managed by a person, but they should not appear in our org chart. So we flag them as hidden, and we don't show them on the org chart. In this way, we can automatically get updated org chart data. So in an automated way, we get the live data, but we also have the flexibility to override that data. Org charts are one of the simplest things you can automate that will have a big impact on the people in your department. It increases the ability for people to connect with each other. It's also one of the things that few people want to update manually and keep up to date. By automating this, you get rid of the need for a lot of manual work. Automating org charts is only the first of many automations you can do to automate people work. I did a previous podcast on all the different kinds of things that you can do to automate people stuff. That is at an article, automateofficework.com/people, and which I also had a podcast recorded about this, so you can listen to that as well. And in that one, we just give, it looks like 12 different examples, and one of them is org charts. So now we're doing a deep dive into org charts today. That is it for this example for how to automate org charts. I hope that you guys get a lot of benefit out of this. I'm wondering if there's anybody in the live chat who would like to come on. And if you have comments about this or anything else, if you want to talk about your projects, I'm happy to do it. I did put a link to the StreamYard, so it's on LinkedIn at this LinkedIn live event. There's a comment with the URL that you can click on and come on. Is there anybody out there who wants to come on? Can wait a couple minutes. All right, let's see if, it looks like I've been presenting only one of my tabs. Oh, I know what happened. It's because I opened a link. Oh, that's it. So let's bring, here, I'm going to share another set of Chrome tabs. Just give me a second. Let's see. Okay, so now I'm sharing my screen. I'm showing the article about people at automateofficework.com/people. Let's see. Oh, I can only share one tab at a time. Let's see if I can share a whole window of these tabs. Thanks for bearing with me, everybody. Window. Okay, so this is the org chart that I was sharing the entire time. This is the people article. You have all kinds of examples. Every one of these, we can go into a deep dive for an episode. This is my article about how to get a list of people. And this data file, it's a text file. It's not going to be as complex, showing the manager chain and people's titles and names. This one, it just grabs the email address, and we get all of them separated by commas and save that file. You'll be doing basically the same thing, but you'll need to also attach like the name of their manager, their name, and their title to be able to create the data file that we need. The data file that we need, that is shown at the article /org charts. You can see an example of the data file that does need to be created. It's just a little more complex. But if you're able to do a comma separated file, you should be able to also do this one, where you add these square brackets and curly braces that the Google library needs to create the org chart. Anything else? Here is, I'm showing on my screen the page to the Google Charts tool that Google provides. And Google has all kinds of documentation on how to use this. Okay, so you can include it. It's used up in the head of your web page. You would put this script tag, and you would point it to this JavaScript for Google Charts. And then you would use this function called draw chart, and you point your data to it. And then it creates the chart, and it draws it into your web page as well. Okay. If anybody would like, I guess, extra help with doing this, I believe I have given you enough that you can think through these issues and create it, especially since, well, that's what I did when I was faced with this issue. I figured out how to do it. I used the tools, and I was able to create the web page that made this on SharePoint. If you would like additional help from me, I am thinking about just packaging my code and just giving you my code. Of course, I'll probably do it for a price, for a small fee. I'm also available if you have something extra. Let's say you need additional features than what you've seen. I am available as a consultant. I can meet with you. We can go over your situation, and we can figure out a way how to build exactly what you need to give you the right tools for your people, for your organization. Okay, my website is automateofficework.com, and you can see all kinds of resources there. You can see I do consulting, where I just speak with people and give advice. I can offer solutions that are custom for you, or maybe there's a packaged module that I've already made that could be just right for you as well. As well as I am available for education. I can meet with your group. Improving our work, it's not just about the technology. It's also about bringing the people along with us. You can have the best tools ever, and if the people don't use them, it's not successful. So we can bring the people along. I can speak to your group. We can do workshops. We can do brainstorming sessions with your group, whatever you need. I'm available here. Feel free to book a call with me. Let's see. I do not see any comments on the LinkedIn Live. All right, so if anybody is wanting to chat with me, feel free to reach out. The first 30 minutes is free. After that, I do have standard rates. If you would like to have some further free time, feel free. We can always chat here on these live events. I would like to make it so it's beneficial for other people as well to hear our chat, but I'm happy to do that for anybody who would like to. Let's see. Anything else we need to talk about? I think that's it for everybody. I hope you've enjoyed the content. Please feel free to share it with anybody else who could get benefit from this. And I'll see you next time. Happy coding.